Welcome to the Classic Silence. I am your host, Kismat 5000. Today we look at Pathé's now legendary movie serial The Adventures of the Linerider. The star of the movie was the Linerider. He first came to national attention in 1910 when he won the Great Yukon Sled Race between Fairbanks, Alaska, and Saskatchewan, Canada. The Linerider worked as a mail carrier bringing packages to remote areas of Alaska, and after gaining notoriety from the race, was featured in a 1911 newsreel titled A Linerider Delivering Mail in the Frozen North. For the first time, people all over the world were able to marvel at the stunts that the Linerider was able to do, such as making death-defying jumps from cliff to cliff and loop-the-loops inside ice caves. In 1914, the French motion picture company Pathé opened up a North American film division in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and was interested in hiring the Linerider to star in a serialized motion picture. The Adventures of the Linerider was shot on 13 reels, each shown as a separate weekly chapter. The movies were basically plotless, and did no more than set up an excuse for the Linerider to demonstrate his sledding ability on film. A typical chapter would feature the Linerider playing himself, racing on his sled to the rescue of his girlfriend, the beautiful Pauline, who was perpetually in peril from the serial's stock villain, Bret Blackheart. The films were extremely popular at the time of their release, and between 1914 and 1922 the Linerider rivaled Charlie Chaplin as the most popular motion picture actor in the world. Unfortunately, only 5 chapters are known to still exist, with the other 8 chapters lost. Movies of the silent era were shot on unstable nitrate film stock which decomposed over time, while many silent classics were transferred to safety stock. It is estimated that around 70% of all silent films were not and are feared lost forever. Missing are Chapter 1 The Linerider to the Rescue, Chapter 3 Trapped in a Lion's Pit, Chapter 4 Blazing Inferno, Chapter 6 Over the Waterfall, Chapter 7 Avalanche, Chapter 9 Hanging from a Cliff, Chapter 11 Attack of the Bees, and Chapter 12 Hourglass of Doom. As these movies were mostly plotless and there is no one still alive who saw them when they were originally released, exactly what happens in the missing chapters is unknown. Only 5 chapters were later recovered from collectors, although it is rumored that at least 2 more chapters exist in a film library in Moscow. A print of the first chapter was owned by a Los Angeles film collector, but in 1988 when film historian Leonard Maltin asked for a screening, it was discovered that it was still on its original nitrate stock and had melted beyond repair. Only a single frame was recovered of Rex running across a field. Chapter 8 was also feared lost, but a print was recently tracked down in Czechoslovakia. Chapter 5 was only known to exist in fragmented form, but a second complete print was discovered in Paris, although in very poor condition. Film historian Kevin Brownlow painstakingly restored the chapter by combining the 2 prints, restoring it to its original running time and clearing up all the visual flaws. As of 2007, the only chapters still known to exist are Chapter 2 Tracks of Terror, Chapter 5 Time Bomb, Chapter 8 Quicksand, Chapter 10 Blades of Death, and Chapter 13 Death from Above. The Linerider never made movies for Pathé again, opting to move out to Hollywood. He was signed by Universal Studios, where he immediately made a full-length feature based on his adventures with the Great Yukon Sled Race called Race to Glory. Although promoted as a true story, it was highly fictionalized, involving a subplot where Linerider had to save a rich heiress from kidnappers. Other films made for Universal included 1916's Master of the Mountains, and another biopic, this time about the British Arctic explorer Robert F. Scott, called Scott Conquers the Antarctic. It was once again fictionalized as Scott, played by the Linerider, succeeds in finding the South Pole and rescuing his starving crew members. The real Scott did not reach the pole first and froze to death on his way back. This was followed by 2 comedies, Snowblind, in 1917, and The Wackiest Sled in the North, in 1918. In 1918 the Linerider was drafted and was on the front in World War I, but the war ended before he actually saw any action. This did not stop Universal from labeling him the hero and putting him in exploitative war movies. The movies included Blood is for Honor, and Hail to the Heroes, in 1919, and Victory is Ours, in 1920, where the line rider personally captures Kaiser Wilhelm, ending the war. The line rider had enough of this, and in 1922, when his contract with Universal expired, left to make his own independently produced anti-war movie All Is Quiet on the Battlefield, calling it the first true depiction of the horrors of war on the motion picture screen. The movie did poorly at the box office, mainly due to the fact that this was the first and only of the line rider's movies where he did not ride a sled. Despondent over the movie's failure, the line rider left the motion picture business, and instead toured on stage. In 1925 he returned to Hollywood, where he was asked to join United Artists. Here he made many unremarkable but popular movies. However, his career came to an end with the arrival of sound film, as the line rider's high-pitched voice sounded funny to movie audiences. In 1932 the line rider retired completely from show business, returning to delivering mail in Alaska. As for his co-stars in the serial, Mary Sullivan, who portrayed the line rider's girlfriend Pauline, is not known to have ever been hired for any other motion pictures. She had a brief career as a stage actress before retiring from show business to become a housewife. Bernard Holmes, who portrayed the evil Bret Blackheart, had a prolific career as a screen villain in many silent and early sound films. In 1937 he ran for and won a seat in the Senate, where he remained until his death in 1981. Michael Berenzon, who portrayed Rex the Wonder Dog, appeared in several movies, both credited and uncredited, until he was put to sleep in 1922 for biting a mailman. His death was never publicized, and many other dogs would appear as Rex between 1922 and 1948. Fuzzy Fuzzbright became a popular character actor in hundreds of westerns between 1914 and 1973. Although always credited as Fuzzy Fuzzbright, and usually playing a character called Fuzzy, his real name was Brock Covington, which he had changed to Fuzzy for the movies. In 1937 a sound version of The Adventures of the Line Rider was made by MGM Studios, starring Clark Gable as the Line Rider, Jean Harlow as Pauline, Lionel Barrymore as the villain Bret Blackheart, and revising his role from the original film, Fuzzy Fuzzbright. Shot as a single feature, the film bared little resemblance to the original. Line Rider went into obscurity for decades, but then clips from Chapter 2 were used as a segment in the 1961 Robert Youngstown compilation movie Days of Thrills and Laughter. Since then the series has been recognized as a high watermark in silent movie cinema. I am now pleased to present the surviving chapters of The Adventures of Line Rider.